11th melody. You've learned it, dear.
She told you she had.
I remembered. You sang it to me while I cried. You knew what the phonic hymn meant. You were telling me everything, right from the start. Thank you, Van.
Farewell, Mysterica.
Master Van!
Stop! After all that's happened, you still call me Master. You fool. Forgive me, my brethren.
Master Van! Thank you!
Goodbye, my beloved brother.
And without Van, is the entire place going to go up? Are we going to have a Metroid-style escape sequence?
All right. Everybody hurry up and escape. I'll stay here and free Lorelei.
Luke!
It's my promise to Lorelei. This is what I need to do.
So why does Luke have to stay here and do it? Can't he do it from anywhere else?
Jade?
Luke, how you've changed.
I was really bad, wasn't I?
But no matter how much you change or regret your actions, not all of what you've done will be forgiven. And that's why you must come back alive. Rather, I hope you do.
Jade, shut up.
Sorry.
I'll be waiting. It's lonely being a servant without a master.
Hey, you're not my servant anymore.
So I'm not a servant in the manor. I'd still serve as your friend.
You're being stupid.
So hurry back home. I'll never forgive you if you just disappear.
You knew, huh?
When you come home, I'm gonna teach you not to hide things from your friends.
Annis?
I knew too. I wasn't as sure as Guy, but
What are you talking about?
you're an easy read. But I have to have you come back alive.
You're not expecting me to... We're not...
No. I'm going to reform the Order for Ion. But in order to do that, I need a patron. So, come home.
Whatever.
Luke, live. Please. I don't want to lose any more people dear to me.
So Natalia's the only one that didn't know.
Not to protect Kim Laska. To live your life. Understand?
I wanted to live.
You will. You cannot disappear. You cannot.
Thanks.
Master!
Your job's done now. Go home and be proud of what you did.
I'll be waiting for your return, Master.
Thanks.
Come home.
Tear.
You have to come home. You have to. I'll be waiting. Always.
I will. I promise. I'll come home.
That's an easy promise to make, because even if you die, then you won't know.
Luke, I love you.
Oh, finally freaking said it. So why doesn't the Albior just fly up here and get them? So is he now going to the planet's core? Is that where Lorelei went back to after Van died?
So the world did not vanish. To think the future I saw would be rewritten. You have done admirably.
Oh, they move quick. Or maybe Luke was falling a lot slower than the scene showed him falling. So this is normally where I think that Luke died to save the world, but people have told me a lot that I need to stay until the end of the credits, so that's what I'm going to do, and reserve any judgments for them. However, while I'm reserving judgments, I will have to give my appraisal of the game now that I've finished it, because I always do that whenever I finish a blind run. This game is awesome. This game, it's not exactly my sort of game. I've never been good with the real-time combat games like Kingdom Hearts and this, and just things like that. I'm a much more methodical thinker, and being able to really think out my actions in a turn-based system is something I excel at. So this is not the sort of game that I would have probably played, and I could actually guarantee you I would never have finished this game if I hadn't been playing it on YouTube, simply because the first act is so slow and Luke is so unlikable in it. It's a very... I worry about games like this because I know I would have given up on it. And this game depends on selling you on the annoyingness and, frankly, worthlessness of Luke's character in order to let the growth and the character change really affect you. But the problem is, you have to actually make it into Act 2 when things start to really heat up, sync up, and move up. So that's a little saddening. That's a little frightening. It makes me wonder how many of the games on my shelf that I never finished are actually really good games. They just, had pacing problems. Because frankly, that's what I think it would be. I don't really know how they could change it or fix it or make it better, but I do know that it's a problem. Because... anytime I play a game like this and I realize in other circumstances I wouldn't have gotten to play it, that concerns me. The high points of the game is Luke's character arc. To a lesser extent, the lower points of the game are everyone else's character arc. Realistically speaking, there's not a whole lot of change in any of the characters except for Luke. Jade starts off cynical, withdrawn, and, has a hard time opening up, and that's how he finishes. And same for all the other characters. Tyr kind of moves, but really this is a story of Luke's journey. Which, nothing wrong with that. Nothing, bad about that, but it does, when you have such a absolutely marvelous progression, through the course of a game, it is a little concerning, a little weird to see that all the other characters were more or less stagnant. They were interesting, they were well done, I really enjoyed them, but none of them actually, went through any... They had character arcs, but not character growth, is I guess what I want to say. Although, I will say Guy is the one exception to that. Guy did actually learn to let go of his hate. But you kind of get the feeling that he had kind of given up on his hate before the game started. He was already Luke's friend back then. And I don't know, he didn't respect Luke, but he didn't hate him either. So he was already kind of going through that before the game even began. The music is fantastic. It is not as good as the Persona series' music, but it's still, I really enjoyed it. It made rewatching the episodes a lot of fun, simply because, you know, when I'm recording, I said this in a comment a little bit ago, when I'm recording, the volume is turned way down so the mic doesn't pick it up. So whenever I, you know, rewatch an episode later, I just really get to experience and enjoy the music. Speaking of the music, here is the Grand Phonic Hymn. Wait, did Eldrot come down in the Tataru Valley? I'm stupid. I was like, oh, she's actually singing it. Well, of course she's singing it. She's the only one that knows it. I also want to say, how in the world did Tear keep her gloves that pristine the entire game? White gets stained really easily.
You didn't come. I believe your presence was requested at Luke's coming-of-age ceremony at the Duke's Manor.
I'm not interested in some ceremony in front of Luke's grave.
That's why the both of you came here, isn't it?
He said he'd be back, so let the others sit around and tell stories at his grave. But I won't be joining them.
Why are Jade's eyes not red here?
The valley is dangerous at night.
Why
How
are
much later this is? Because some of them have changed clothes. Like Guy.
you here?
This place has a nice view of Hod. And also, I promised someone.
I'll go for it, Tyr. Oh, and Jade smiled a little bit. I saw it. So it looks like that whenever they went into the planet's core and up into the sky or whatever, that Ash and Luke's phonons joined. So, I mean, he actually is literally both of them now, is my guess. That definitely seems to be the imagery that I'm seeing in that. Okay, so save it there. Guess I want to beat up on Van again. The one slightly depressing thing about that, and it was because I worked on Nibelhelm for so long, because I spent probably 4 hours trying to beat Nibelhelm, and I actually got to the point where I was making some headway, but it was like, Nibelhelm had 480,000 hit points, and I would get her down to about 400,000 of them, which is down 80,000. I mean, it's not bad, but you know, she just takes so little damage, and it was one of those, I'm like, I'm never going to get through all this. So, but because of that, when I fought Van, I was really, really good at watching for stuff like that, and I was able to outmaneuver him a lot easier. So, that was kind of sad. But anyway, this has been Tales of the Abyss. I may do a bonus video, go take on Nibelheim at a higher level. I'm not sure yet. But if not, thank you very much for coming along with me on this journey. Thank you very much on being here for this journey. Because like I was saying before, if I hadn't been playing this on YouTube, then I would have... Well, I already saved. I mean, this is... Yes. Well... Yes, cancel the save. So, yes, because if you guys hadn't been here, if I hadn't been playing this, I would have missed out on this game altogether, which would have been a tragedy. Would have been something Shakespeare would have written about. And that would have been awful. So. Fastest win, 2 seconds. Alright. Yeah, I didn't use Ash at all. Average battle time was about a minute long. That is one good thing about this. And game designers have learned a lot from this, but the battles are all short, crisp, and good. There are not a whole lot of... because there's some games where the battles just drag on and on and on. But thankfully, that's partially why I don't like the active battle system that games like this have. Because all too often, that's what happens. It turns into a very, very strategic, very difficult, pacing and position-based thing. And in order to add difficulty, they just make it take longer. And that's boring. So I guess the same thing happens in turn-based, where they just make certain battles take forever. But thankfully, this one didn't do that. And that made me happy. But I'm rambling now. I'm sorry. Just, thank you. Expect another video to come up here in a couple of hours for the vote on what my next game will be. This has been Tales of the Abyss. What a fantastic introduction to the Tales series. I certainly intend on playing some of the other Tales games. I don't know which one, and I don't know if that will be next. That's what the vote is for. So, I do apologize once again for all the technical difficulties this playthrough had, us losing saves, something getting slowed down, and various problems like that. And I also apologize, as always, for my terrible voice acting. But you guys have been really good at, not giving me hell about it. See you guys.